If you are one of those who think Antarctica is too cold for anyone or anything to live in, it's time you debunked that thought. Research has shown that there's more to Antarctica than we know via terrifying discoveries. Come along as we show you 15 terrifying discoveries in Antarctica that changed everything. Number 15. Blood Falls. Before this amazing and terrifying discovery, you must have heard of a waterfall, a point where water flows over a vertical drop. And if there's anything you would expect in a region like Antarctica, it should be a waterfall or ice fall. But now we have blood fall. Terrifying, right? This part of Antarctica looks like a massacre occurred a long time ago with the red color on the surface. This part of Antarctica stands out because most parts are known for their pristine white snow cover, while the blood fall stands out for its blood red color. Why exactly was that part the way it is? Relax, there's no gore. This part was discovered in 1911 as a frozen waterfall when scientists thought the discoloration was due to the presence of algae. However, there was no evidence to back it up. The blood falls are not only strange for the color, but also because it's the coldest glacier on Earth. It appears the falls support constantly flowing water rich in iron. This waterfall flows out of the Taylor Glacier in Antarctica's McMurdo Dry Valleys, and for years, scientists have wondered why it has a blood red color until discovered recently. About 2 million years ago, the Taylor Glacier had managed to seal beneath it a small body of water, which is also home to an ancient community of microbes. The microbes have been stuck under a thick layer of ice till today without having a relationship with their surroundings. The trapped lake contains a lot of sodium chloride and is also high in iron. Naturally, when the iron is exposed to water and oxygen, it forms hydrated iron 3 oxide, which is seen as rust. Therefore, the exposure of the lake to air automatically gives it a unique red color. Number 14. Pigs. Let's say you were asked to name likely animals that you could find beneath Antarctica ice. I bet you would have never mentioned a pig. Why should pigs live under the ice? This is exactly what makes the discovery very shocking. There are pigs in Antarctica, but not the pigs that you see on land. They are sea pigs. Known as Protellula murray, the sea pig is a type of sea cucumber that can be found roaming the muddy seafloor in the Ross Sea. It belongs to the class of sea cucumbers that can only be found in the deepest parts of the world's oceans. Sea cucumbers are simple organisms that look like water balloons filled with intestines and reproductive organs. The body is transparent enough for you to see the gut. Still, wondering why this animal is called a sea pig? Just look at it closely. This is a unique animal that uses a ring of tentacles around the mouth to pick up and eat detritus from the muddy seafloor. Sea pigs have 5 to 7 pairs of enlarged tube feet. These legs can be amazingly inflated and deflated to move around. The structures on top of the pig's head can be easily mistaken for antennae, but they are sea pig's feet. These walking legs have 2 functions, which are to help propel the sea pig along the ocean or help it detect the chemical trail of a meal. The sea pigs are found all over the world's oceans and are also found in Antarctica. They are abundant in nature, but most people will never see them. That is because if you won't dive deep into the coldest parts of the ocean, you can't see this amazing creature. Number 13. Ancient meteorite. Researchers in Antarctica have recovered a rare large meteorite on the ice. Weighing in at 7.6 kilograms, it is one of the largest space rocks ever discovered on the continent. It is not the first meteorite that would be discovered in Antarctica. Antarctica's dry, cold weather is known to carefully preserve meteorites that land on it. It's one of the best places to find meteorites because active glaciers have a way of keeping ancient rocks buried beneath the ice. In the past 100 years, over 45,000 meteorites have been found in Antarctica, the majority of which have been micrometeorites, which range from tens to hundreds of grams, unlike the newly discovered meteorite weighing at 7.6 kilograms. Researchers used a machine learning model and identified 5 icy regions where they were relatively free of snow, which might have otherwise covered up meteorites. They explored all 5 regions systematically by snowmobile, but only one contained any meteorites. This is why the meteorite is considered big luck. Meteorites contain useful material in the solar system and probably originated from the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. The analysis of this meteorite will make scientists further understand the space world, but for now, we have to wait for the results to know what this meteorite is about. Number 12. Hidden world. While we know of the world we live in, There's a hidden world in our world, somewhere in Antarctica. According to researchers, there's a newly discovered ecosystem found in an underground river 1/3 of a mile beneath the Antarctic ice shelf. Researchers drilled through the ice shelf and dropped a camera in. What they found shocked them as they never expected it. For a long time, researchers have speculated about a network of flowing freshwater lakes and rivers beneath the Antarctic ice sheets, but had yet to explore them. After the researchers identified it as a subterranean river, they had to drill into the site to find out what is really under. At first, the camera picked up blurry flecks that looked like detritus floating around. A quick camera focus showed that it was actually living crustaceans. The camera captured hundreds of amphipods and shrimp-like crustaceans. They swarmed around the camera as it descended into the river, probably to discover what it was. This habitat was discovered underneath the outer edges of the Ross Ice Shelf, the world's largest body of floating ice on the southern edge of Antarctica. The discovery was made during a research project focused on documenting and piecing together how climate change is melting the ice shelf and affecting associated ecosystems. Unknown to the researchers, they were going to discover a new life. Number 11. Antarctica was not covered in ice. This is one of the discoveries that changed everything you believed. Imagine finding out that the region you've known to be covered in ice all your life hasn't always been covered with ice. For over 100 million years, the continent lay over the South Pole without freezing. But about 34 million years ago, a dramatic shift in climate happened at the boundary between the Eocene and Oligocene epochs. The climate has been stable since the extinction of the dinosaurs, became suddenly colder, creating what scientists call an ice house at the poles that has continued to the present day. This made scientists wonder what could have caused the climate shift. The climate changes can be recorded by studying tiny microfossils in layers of deep-sea mud. Till today, scientists believe that oceans appear to have warmed up during this big climatic shift. Their research shows that the warming probably coincides with ice sheets appearing in both Antarctica and the Arctic. However, this evidence was conflicting with the computer simulations. The computer models at the time don't show ice to be present in the Arctic. Surprisingly, the solution to this puzzle has come from Tanzania, in the east of Africa. The Tanzania drilling project team, including scientists from Amaguf Simulant and Cardiff University, have been recovering cores of ancient mud deposited on the seafloor millions of years ago. This means that the needed microfossils are beautifully preserved in the cores of Tanzania. Number 10. UFO sightings. Over the years, there's been belief about aliens existing close to us and hiding from us, and now it seems Antarctica is entertaining some aliens. Recently, some UFO enthusiasts claim that they have spotted a crashed UFO on Google Earth images in Antarctica. The alien hunters have considered this image to be real. They believe that the unidentified mass object is nothing but a spacecraft that crashed into the ice. The alleged UFO was discovered in remote South Georgia Island where only 20 to 30 people live. Since the video was posted, it has sparked debate amongst scientists. While some believe that the image is indeed a UFO crash, some believe that it was just a rock that got pushed along the glacier. It looks like a flat large disc buried under the ice, with some parts not covered in ice slightly showing. According to someone stationed in the Royal Navy, it has been said that whatever is on the image is a result of a glacial slide and nothing more. There's been nothing from both sides to hold on to like evidence, so we can as well choose to believe whatever we want. Do you think that it was a UFO sighting or just a glacier sliding effect? Number 9. Volcanoes and the ice. Antarctica is a big continent that has caught the interests of scientists. For years, they have explored the region and have discovered a lot, but all this while, no one knew there were 91 volcanoes lurking beneath Antarctica's ice. This may be one of the most extensive volcano regions in Earth. Scientists have wondered how active these volcanoes are. These volcanoes are discovered beneath the ice as much as 3 kilometers thick. Some of the peaks were large up to about 1,000 meters high and tens of kilometers. If you're wondering if these areas have ever been studied, the answer is yes, they have. But this time, instead of focusing on the ice, the researchers decided to focus on the land surface beneath the ice using an online data set called BedMap2. An example of this set is the ice-penetrating radar, which we can see through the ice and reveal whatever is beneath. After this discovery, the scientists kept wondering what might happen if the volcanoes are very active and if they interact with the ice above them. While they don't have answers yet, they have their guess. as you might have guessed, any eruption could lead to melting the Antarctica ice, which is already a big concern because of the Earth's climate warming. When the ice melts, it raises the sea level around the globe. Presently, the Antarctica ice sheet is already crumbling around the edges, with big chunks of ice breaking off and drifting away. If the whole West Antarctic sheet melted, the sea level would rise at least 3.6 meters worldwide, which is enough to cause floods in most coastal areas. Terrifying, isn't it? Number 8. Ancient egg. A very old egg has been found in Antarctica. How old? Older than anyone alive presently. This fossil has existed for millions of years. You would have mistaken it for a deflated American football if you just stumbled on a picture of it anywhere, but it is actually an old discovered egg deep beneath the ice. After discovery, it was kept in a Chilean museum and named The Thing, since no one knew what it was. But after much research and analysis, scientists have said that it is an egg belonging to an extinct giant lizard or snake that lived alongside the dinosaurs. The millions-year-old fossil egg measures 29 centimeters by 20 centimeters, and it's the second largest egg in the world. The first position remains the eggs of the Madagascar's extinct giant flightless elephant birds. According to scientists, the only creatures big enough to lay such an egg in Antarctica were the marine lizards known as mosasaurs and the long-necked plesiosaurus. This discovery changed the belief of scientists. Before this discovery, they believed that these animals did not lay eggs, but were instead giving birth to their young ones alive. This egg is now dubbed Antarctica sprati, which is coined from Greek words that mean delayed Antarctic stone egg, pushing the limits of how large scientists thought soft-shelled eggs could grow. The egg is different from the hard-shelled elephant bird's eggs, which was 5 times thicker. This new egg has a thin eggshell that lacks pores, a feature that also set the egg apart from most old dinosaur eggs. Since no one saw an animal lay the egg, who knows what really laid the egg? Number 7. Lake under the ice. This is one of the most terrifying discoveries. You probably think there's nothing serious about discovering a lake under the ice, but this lake is different from anything you have seen. In the South Pole lies our ultimate reservoir of fresh water, and 90% of the world's ice lies in Antarctica. But what the satellites have discovered are lakes and flowing water that sits thousands of feet below the ice. What's shocking is how this lake constantly fills and drains by itself. Where does the water come from, and where does it go when it drains? No one traveled to that depth to make the discovery, but NASA's satellites called IceSat and IceSat-2 detected the lakes. IceSat stands for Ice, Cloud, and Land Elevation Satellite. These satellites travel around in low-orbit space and use lasers to measure elevations along the Earth's surface. IceSat-2 measures annual changes in ice surface elevations as small as 0.4 centimeters per year. When you think of the distance of 0.4 centimeters, it's a very short distance. But with this, the satellite has made an amazing discovery. These lakes fill and drain in cycles. As one lake is draining, the ice surface above it collapses. While that is going on, another lake receives the water and the ice surface above rises. The changes in the surface topography of the ice allow scientists to find the lakes and track the flow of water between individual lakes. Now the question is, how did these lakes form in the first place? Scientists hypothesize that water filling these subglacial lakes is sourced by melting along the ice sheet base. This process stands in contrast to subglacial meltwater below the Greenland ice sheet, which instead arises from surface meltwater descending through crevices to the base of the ice. Number 6. Dry valley. When you imagine Antarctica, ice and water come to mind. It's normal, but it's terrifying to find out that there's a dry valley in the same place. On the western coast of McMurdo Sound are the McMurdo Dry Valleys, from the largest ice-free area in Antarctica. Yeah, some places don't have ice. They cover a surface area of approximately 4,800 square kilometers and are unique in that their frozen lakes and extensive areas of exposed soil represent a region of Earth approaching the minimal requirements for supporting life. On the valley are limited precipitation, low temperature, and salt accumulation that make it almost like Mars compared to Earth. McMurdo Dry Valleys remain dry because the precipitation that falls as snow to the Antarctic continent is blown away from this area by strong and dry winds through the process of sublimation. Not that the area is totally free from ice, but the only ice found in the dry valleys is the form of alpine glaciers and lake ice, making the area an amazing one. This area was discovered by Captain Scott back in 1903. He and his expedition crew believed the valleys to be void of any life because of the harsh conditions, but it turns out that a large variety of aquatic ecosystems thrive in the harsh area due to the glacier melt streams that flow into the ice-covered lakes. This flow is not constant, but is dependent upon a combination of factors surrounding temperature, wind, and sunlight. However, because of the fluctuation, only certain organisms can survive in the unusual dry valleys environment. These organisms are usually cyanobacteria, known to be species that tolerate stress well and also have dark pigments for protection from high UV rays. Number 5. A giant hole. About 5.5 years ago, the satellite caught something wild in the middle of the Antarctic winter. It was a gigantic hole in the middle of the ice that spanned thousands of square miles. This is a discovery that fascinated and confused scientists at the same time because this hole has not appeared since the 1970s. Now that's terrifying. What could have dug such a big hole? There are no two ways to describe this hole than enormous. Scientists have discovered that this hole, known as the Paulina, was likely caused by a powerful cyclone that spun up in Antarctica's Weddell Sea before migrating eastward into the Lavrel Sea in mid-September of 2017. The site of the Paulina, which is directly above an enormous undersea mountain known as the Maud Rise, made it especially fascinating, as similar giant Paulinas have been spotted in the same location in satellite imagery from the 1970s. In an age of human-caused climate change, the hole is important because rising temperatures could alter the frequency or intensity of polar cyclones, potentially affecting the occurrence of these Paulinas and, in turn, global ocean circulation. When the Paulina was first spotted, it was only 3,700 square miles, which is more than twice the area of Rhode Island. But soon it became bigger to be about 31,000 square miles, which is roughly the size of Ireland. Number 4. Garden of Weird Life. When researchers studied samples they got from the lake underneath the Antarctica ice, they found an abundance of life. About 130,000 cells were found in each millimeter of the lake water. The community in there is more complex than what is expected from a world isolated from the rest of the planet. Samples from the lake show that life has survived there without energy from the sun for the past 120,000 years, and possibly for as long as 1 million years. But little did they know that there's a weird garden under the ice. Right below the ice shelf in East Antarctica is a garden discovered by a robot. In the garden lives sea cucumbers, sponges, urchins, worms, sea stars, and sea spiders. You can also see worms that look like flowers in this garden. These animals were not expected to be there because of the temperature of the water, which is negative 1.5 degrees Celsius. However, they are protected from storms by the ice sheet. The only concern of scientists now is that this garden may cease to exist in years to come because of the rising carbon dioxide levels. More than warm water, carbon dioxide acidifies cold water. Number 3. Singing ice. Just when you thought it was over, you hear the ice sing. Scientists have heard the Ross Ice Shelf in Antarctica emitting tones that they have described as songs, but it actually sounds creepy to the ear. As per scientists, the sounds are created when the wind wisps across the snow dunes, causing the ice to vibrate. When we burn fossil fuels, we release gases that trap heat in the atmosphere, which in turn contributes to the melting of the ice and ocean warming. That way, the sea level rises as ocean molecules expand and ice melts. According to the researchers, variations in wind strength and changes in air temperatures can both impact the snow layer and in doing so affect the pitch of the seismic hum detected. Even after this knowledge, that sound is still creepy, so terrifying. Number 2. Ice fish colony. This isn't the first time scientists would see fish in the ocean, but this time this is a large colony of breeding fish. And in fact, it is the largest known fish colony in the world. It is discovered on the coast of Antarctica. These fishes are known as ice fish, and this habitat stretches across at least 240 square kilometers of the seafloor, an area that is 1/3 larger than Washington, D.C. Up until the discovery of this colony, researchers have not found anything like it. Other fishes are known to rest near each other, but not as much as this. Some do so in dozens, while the most social species of nesting fish have been found to gather only in hundreds. But in this discovery, researchers found estimated 60 million active nests. That's a very big number, I must say. Now to the first discovery on this list. Number 1. Staircases. This staircase-like structure was seen in satellite images from Google Earth, which had led to wild speculations about its origin. This structure looks like a long, narrow staircase that is covered in snow. Some people believe it is the remains of a hidden or lost city. Some think it's built by an extinct race, while some believe that aliens have put the structure there, probably a landing site or something. The structure is a terrifying one. Usually staircases lead to rooms or other buildings, but this one is a strange staircase that leads nowhere. If you take the time to climb these stairs, you will only end at the surface of another piece of ice. Maybe it is true that there is a city buried under the ice where the stairs lead to. No one knows for sure if this thing on the image is even stairs or just a glitch in the camera or anything else that formed naturally. One thing is, we would never know if the researchers did not take it upon themselves to find out if the stairs are actually real.